this is Sabina at Cross Keys Crafts. Today I'd like to try a little experiment. I thought, and if you know me, I do that quite frequently. I thought I'd just switch the camera on. I'm not trying out what I've got in my head. My idea is to make my own embossing folder. I had that idea months ago. Something inspired me. I can't remember what it was. And I had a note in my phone, so today when I looked at my notes and thought, what can I create, I came up with this. My original idea only involved cardstock, but it was only today when I looked at it I thought I could do with something that covers the cardstock, because when I dry emboss I like to mist my piece of card that I am embossing. So I thought if I use some vinyl, this is just some, well, for me it's scrap vinyl, because I bought all these vinyl sheets when I bought my Cricut Joy that I haven't really been using. So I thought I might just as well use that. But you can use probably some foil from some laminating sheets, so you could laminate the paper before you do that. Or you can get the sticky foil that you can, cover books with, or even just pieces of packing tape. It doesn't really matter, I think, but I will just use this. And I've already cut myself 4 panels. I might only need 3 actually, thinking about it, of heavyweight cardstock. This is a 300 GSM. And I've cut these to 5 by 7 inches because that's the biggest size I create cards with. I don't have any bigger cards, but you could create a bigger embossing folder or a smaller one if you like. So I just wanted to show you how I cover these sheets. So I need to cover 2 to start with, and then I'll show you what we do with the scraps. I might be making it a bit more complicated there, but the reason is I don't want to waste another full sheet of this. So I'm peeling the edge off, folding this over here. I've cut these to 5 by 7 as well, and I'm aligning this, just move it up a little bit, aligning this at the bottom here of the sheet. Might be a wee bit bigger, but it doesn't matter. And when I've aligned it here, without moving it again, I can press the top corner down, so I know this is straight, and now I can lift this up and pull this out, and then gradually, let me show this to you, gradually press this down, ideally without any bubbles. Sorry, it's difficult to see because it keeps on flapping over, but I don't want to fold it over too much and then create a crease. So I can just lift this off, press this down. Works actually quite nicely because it's quite a thick sheet, and there we go, it's perfectly aligned. So I will do that with one more piece, and then I'll tell you about the dies I have chosen. So I had to edit some footage out, and this is why I ended up with a blue panel, because my first one did not work. I had planned to use these poinsettia dies. The problem with these is they are not symmetrical and they don't cut very well through thicker layers, so I was making my life difficult. So I do suggest you use dies that cut well and are symmetrical, because when you cut your pieces, these were a nightmare to fit in again, these dies, whereas with these it's quite straightforward. If you do like fiddly things, my suggestion is when you die cut this, make a dot where you've got where you align it. For example, I would put a dot here on the die and put a dot here on the foil where I'm placing it, so when I take it out and I have to place it in again, I know which way around it goes. But with these it's quite easy because I'm sure these are symmetrical and doesn't matter which way around. And because Christmas cards are coming up in July, I thought these star shapes would be nice. These are nesting dies. I'm only using these 2 sizes because I think the other size would be too big. So I will now do this off camera. I will cut this quite a few times from this one sheet. If I find I can't cut it through properly, I will use a metal shim just to cut these a bit better, because obviously I've got the vinyl layer and the cardstock here, but I'll see how that goes. And I will just put these all over. I will vary where I put the little one. I will move it over. I also make sure that they don't all point in the same way, so I will turn these a little bit and to cover it. I think most of it, I think I will leave a little strip down at the bottom to then be able to stamp on or decorate something else on it. So I will do this off camera. This will take me, I'd say, about 10 minutes. It won't be too long. And then I'll show you how we continue with the other piece of cardstock that doesn't have vinyl on it. I've cut all my pieces here out. I try not to overthink it. It's a bit sort of cascading movement, but I just did it, as I felt it. So I'm now placing this on top of the plain cardstock, and I'm sticking these together at the top because I want these to be aligned. And now comes the second bit, which will probably just take 10 minutes again, and I'm placing these dies back in here like puzzle pieces, sticking them down again, and the idea is to cut these out from the piece underneath. I hope this works. With my piece before, because the dies weren't very good, it didn't cut all the way through. If I should find that, I will have to draw with a pencil just round these bits and then align them that way. But I'll let you know in the next bit which technique was successful. So the die cutting worked really well. No issues there with the good dies. If you've got any threads here, these are from the vinyl where I'm sort of a little bit out, just pick these off. They don't make a difference really, but you don't want them to stick on your cardstock later. So my job now is to glue these two panels together. So I'm just using my liquid glue, make sure I've got plenty on the edges, but not too much that it oozes out, and I will stick this on like this. And with these, I will stick each piece that has got vinyl on the top onto one of these pieces that hasn't got vinyl. And I think I will just keep this is a stitched die. I will just make sure the stitched side is here on the top. It doesn't make a difference, I think, with these, but at least I know they are equally shaped. It doesn't matter. So that's the good thing about having symmetrical dies. I can turn these either way, they always fit. So again, I will quickly do this off camera. This again took me under 10 minutes, so this won't take me much longer, but I will leave these to dry for a moment. So I reckon I come back to this in about 20 minutes. And just popping in to show you this. So I'm applying my glue here on the star, again not too close to the edge, and I'm pressing this down. It is quite fiddly, and I'm just using my fingers to push this into place just like this, and then you don't have any problems aligning them, even with the little ones. So use a glue that makes it easy to just move it about just a little bit. I'm just using my magic glue again. So I have doubled up the cardstock on this panel as well. I think it will be sturdier. We now need to stick these two together. I'm just using another piece of my vinyl, just one of the scraps. You can obviously just use clear tape. Just peel this off. So this is going on the top hinge on the back here. So I'm just placing it down like this, because this way I know where my cutouts are. I don't want to cover those. Could cut it down a little bit if I wanted to. And this one here, I'm placing vinyl on vinyl, because that's the idea. So I'm just aligning that here, and I'm just folding this over, even pulling it a bit without moving that out of the way. just to create a nice hinge here. Hope it works. So now we need to place the stars upside down in here. When I was cutting these, gluing these, I had the thought whether these actually would have to be cut down to allow for the paper to actually go into the molds. We'll see. This might be a total fail. I mean, in the end, I could use these like a stencil and do the embossing that way. But of course, the idea is for it to actually go in there. So this is quite satisfying actually putting them in. So because we're working on vinyl here, I don't want to use the magic glue. I will use my acrylic glue, which is the Collal, which hopefully the bottle is cooperative. Sometimes that got stuck in there. Also wondering why that has oozed out there. So let me just prep the bottle and then I'll show you how we do it. Yeah, when I say prep it, it means, you know, getting the needle in, moving it upside down and make sure it flows nicely. It's not great. I find as soon as I decant the glue, whichever bottles I'm using, it doesn't really work well, but it'll be fine for this. So all I'm doing now is applying glue to these stars, again not going too close to the edge. Luckily this doesn't dry too quickly. Just enough so I know they will hold firmly in place. If I say firmly, I hope they will stick to the vinyl, but they should do. So I'm just removing any threads here in the middle. So, and now I'm just sticking this down and I'm applying some pressure to pick up all these stars. And I can now even turn it the other way around, press these down, and now I need to leave these to dry. Don't be tempted to lift this up now. They will shift, they will move. I need to be patient now. So I think I might just watch 30 minutes of telly and then I come back and then we have the trial run and hopefully this works. I have left this to dry for about an hour and a half because in the meantime I actually created another card. That's why my fingers are all inky. And fingers crossed, if I lift these up now and pop these all out, they should have stayed in place. This one didn't. Yeah, they're not stuck down properly. So I have to redo these here. I tell you what, I think I forgot to put glue on these and that's why they're not stuck down. So in that case, I have to continue this in the morning, I think. Before I forget to mention though what I'm be using for this, I don't suggest you use a heavyweight cardstock. So I have chosen this Dove Craft colour card pack. This is only 180 GSM. And I have sprayed it with my homemade sparkle spray. What this is just water, and I've used this high pigmented watercolour silver paint, and I just put a little bit in the water, and when I spray it, it gives a lovely sparkle. This one actually has rolled up because it was so damp, but it doesn't matter because we're putting it through the embossing folder. But yeah, I think I'll have to call it a night. I have to stick these down now. How did I miss them? Really weird. So I have to stick these down and then yeah, I can do them this way around or put them in there again. And yeah, and wait till the morning till I do these. So yeah, for you it'll only be a few seconds. I changed my mind, I'm too impatient. I just put some red tape on these stars here now and hopefully that will work. Usually the problem is to peel this release paper off, but if I can get that done, I should be okay. It should stay in place there. So pressing this down, make sure I'm picking these up. Yeah, that has worked. So that's fine now. So what I need to do now is with my cardstock, first of all I need to have a think which way around it goes. Yeah, this will have to go on here and then I fold this over. But as I said before and suggested, I will have to mist this with water. I will do this here on the side. I don't want my desk to be wet. So because it's rolled that way already, I will mist it from the back to make it a bit more pliable. And it's really just a mist. I don't want it to be too wet. So what did I say? I wanted it this way around. Tell you what I'll do though. I'll pop it in this way around. Can close this over the top. So if it works like I hope it will, then I should be able to emboss properly. I've taken one plate out and fingers crossed that this works. I hope I've got enough pressure here. No, because it's not as thick as plastic. I definitely need another plate. So popping this one in again. I'm making sure when I'm putting it in that the hinge faces the... Oh, that might be too much. Yeah. So it's worth then finding out your shim, what you need. So this one's too thick. So I'll try... Bear with me whilst I get some cardstock ready. So I'm trying some cardstock and paper. See if that works. That feels okay. Might not be enough. If that's the case, I might put the metal shim in. Oh, wow. It does work. How cool is this? So I've got a bit of a blemish there, whether that is from the die cutting plate. Let me just think. Which way around did I have it? I might have to put something underneath so it doesn't get any imprints from my die cutting plate. But this is really cool. And I think by putting the sparkle on there as well, if you have any, simple plain cardstock, it enhances it. So I'll give it another try with this piece here. So same again, misting it from the back. So I have to think again which way around. Yes, see that's the case because this is open. I definitely have to have another protective piece of cardstock on there. So I'm placing this down so the sparkle faces the openings. And yeah, so this is exposed to the plate, so I definitely need to protect that bit. So, which I can easily do by putting the shims on top. This is just some cardstock that I've got from my yogurts. So let me put that through. Yeah, I love that. That is very cool. So I'm leaving these to dry now because they obviously are a bit damp. And then I will, just off camera to keep this video short, we'll create 2 cards with these, probably the same ones. Well, just add a sentiment. I can cut this to size a little bit. It obviously will have to go on a heavier card base. But yeah, I'm really pleased with this. And I can obviously reuse this. If I wanted to, I can put actually another piece of cardstock maybe even with another layer of the vinyl just at the bottom to not have to worry about the imprints from the cutting plate. But yeah, I'm pleased with this. There's a little bit of a residue here from the vinyl. I can take that off. Yeah, but I'm really pleased that this worked out as I had hoped, because I was a bit worried at one point that I needed to leave a bit of space between these stars and the cutting board. Yeah, and if you like this idea too, you might want to give me a thumbs up, and if you'd like to see more of what I'm creating, you might want to subscribe to my channel. I'd be very happy about that. And please stay tuned for the end of the video to see my finished cards. Thank you very much for watching. So I'm popping in to show you my finished cards, but I also want to give you a tip on the embossing folder. So as suggested, I've put another piece of cardstock, sorry I should show you this side, underneath this panel so that I protect my embossed piece from the blemishes on my cutting plate. But the other thing I wanted to show you is I will store mine with a piece of paper in between, because I don't want these to get stuck in here and then me tearing these off, and this way I can store this away easily. So these are my two finished cards. I kept it simple. I just wanted to show you two variations. Of course, there are loads of things you can do with embossing folders. With this one, I just stamped a sentiment here at the bottom. This one is from this set here, and this one I believe came with a magazine. So if you recognize this one, this is the stamp here at the bottom that I've used. And I just stamped that in the VersaFine Clair Warm Breeze, because I think this is a nice colour that goes with this sort of turquoise look. Then I wanted to bring in some more dimension, and I die cut 3 stars here from the same nesting die set, but I've doubled up the cardstock because it's a thin cardstock. I just used some double-sided adhesive for that and die cut them, and then just put them on foam pads. But just to have a variation to this one, and it would have looked a little bit plain, I added these star sequins. They are from the works. I got these a few years ago, and I think it is fairly plain and simple, but still effective and sort of neutral. Sometimes we don't want a super elaborate card. If it's just an acquaintance we need a card for, and I think this is quite nice here. So, and the other one I kept actually even simpler. I just die cut a sentiment that I popped here at the bottom. I used a holographic card for the background here, and I cut another star that I just stuck on here, and then the sentiment I used the same paper I had for this. So this is even simpler. I think this works nicely as a mail card because it is so simple. I would have liked to add some more stars in the mirror card, but with the smaller ones I was struggling to get them released from the die without scratching the top. I tried with my bone folder. This one I actually put my fingernail in, so I dismissed those and I just kept the one little one. And by the way, I used adhesive strips, double-sided adhesive strips, to put the panels down. Again, because it's more like a paper, I thought this would be better than using liquid glue, which sometimes can get a bit bumpy. One little tip as well for when you create your embossing folder: make sure your elements are not too close to each other, because you want to allow some space for the paper to go in between and to mold in between, and also don't go too close to the edges. Yeah, but I'm really pleased with the results and with the possibilities. You know, I have now to create my own embossing folders. And it doesn't even have to be a full panel. You can just do a small area and then decorate the rest, or have a panel going down on the side. Yeah, I really like these. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon with another video.